I'm gonna just do mine like whatever. So I got Ant Banks, Big Things.
Big things.
I got Lighter Shade of Brown.
Okay.
I ain't mad at that.
I got the Booyah Tribe.
He picking real gangster rap.
I got Volume 10.
Pistol Grip Pump. Hip Opera.
I got Genius Rap, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
Shout out Andre Harrell.
I got Second to None.
I ain't mad at that.
And I got Low Profile.
Got to pay your dues.
Come on, man.
That's why we do it.
You know what? And what's funny is some of the stuff he just named in this part, we actually had higher.
Some of the artists,
Yeah, some of the artists, like I believe Wiz Dub C's them, Low Profile,
Yeah.
DJ Aladdin.
Yeah.
I had that like I can't say it now, but I had that ranked really high.
Well, I got a different Dub C album ranked very, very high.
Me too.
One that you happen to be on.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so because
you know what it
you're
is.
going like that.
now you
know
feel
what
what I'm
it
saying. You
is.
see what we
Right,
going
right.
with?
Because then there's, I come from that level because then I got shit like that's higher that I felt like represents more of. So that's mine. That's mine's right there.
All right.
I don't think like, you know what I'm saying, look at dudes like Ant Banks, who's representing Oakland up in the Bay Area. Ant Banks produced a lot of significant shit.
Yeah,
A
Ant
lot
Banks
of
is
West
that
Coast artists
bad motherfucker.
around that era of
sure.
when we was getting cracking, with the Cubes and the CMWs and the Too Shorts, and when the Bay Area was getting cracking with the Spice Ones and the Too Shorts and all of that.
yeah.
So
He was essential.
Banks had his hand in a lot of heavy Bay Area sound. You get me?
Absolutely.
Which was very significant, different from
Down here.
in L.A. and Compton. So
Very different feel sonically.
I used to bang Ant Banks in the neighborhood when I used to be dipping in my 63. So that's what that meant, That's what Ant Banks music meant to me as far as West Coast reality music.
Well, he definitely had the bottom, so I know.
Definitely.
I know for riding
Definitely.
around, that's perfect music.
You know what I never understand, man? Why people who made these Ant producers like Ant Banks, not just him, my boy Humpty Hump. Those producers,
Shock G.
why they weren't utilized as much today? Like even like DJ Quick, you would think that like a YG would get with him.
That's a good question. But
You know what I'm saying? It just would make sense because a lot of these kids, they are redoing them songs that came out. Why not get with the original dude? They still here?
Well, I've never, but when you look at that, like using short, even though Ant Banks didn't do this song, if you look at like cuss words and then you look at when they made Chicken Head, Project Pat, produced by DJ Paul and Juicy J, when they did Chicken Head, they used cuss words beat
Exactly.
underneath it. So that's to Steele's point. That to me is always like the beautiful thing, or even like speaking of music drive-by, when you hear the same sample that you use that is then on
somebody else's.
on Warning,
Yes,
for
definitely.
instance. It's like, oh, for someone like me, and I was still in Maryland at the time, but I'm hearing like, wait a minute, everybody's loving this Biggie song, but have they heard the Compton's Most Wanted song? And in Maryland they hadn't, but I know out here it was a different story.
That was the same like hearing a friendly game of baseball.
Yep.
And then we turned around and flipped it.
Drive by Miss Daisy.
Daisy. So
Yeah.
that was significant around that time of hip hop.
Absolutely.
Because not that it was considered biting. To me, I called it idolizing a nigga because I love some fucking main source. You feel me?
And this the thing too, like
Nigga coming from the West Coast, and banging some motherfucking
Your main
freaking
source
game
was
of
the shit.
baseball or some just hanging
Talking
out.
about police brutality, though.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
he did it. And this is the thing.
Clever with it.
It was very clever, but the thing that I loved just listening to the music was main source had Friendly Game of Baseball, which was, in a way, their version of Fuck the Police or One Time Gaffing Them Up. They did it that way, but then the beauty of it is to use the same samples, the same bass in a different way to make a Drive-By Miss Daisy, which is Drive-By. It's like,
Exactly.
it's just breaking it down in different ways. And to me, that was the beauty of listening to how people freak the samples. Like that to me was,
Definitely.
I loved it. And Warning and Music, I mean, it's just,
Yeah, you just different ears coming from these producers. You know,
Yeah.
Slip, was one of those producers that you could hear a sample or hear somebody else's song and be
Yeah.
like, oh damn man, what I would have done, and I would have cut this up or chopped this or whatever.
Yeah.
So, just show minds at work, man. Great minds think alike. You feel me?
for sure.
You know what the biggest thing is, right? And I get that as a producer, you need to constantly keep updating your sounds because the sounds do change. If you don't stay up on stuff, you can lose a step just like that. And it's something that can become very hard to do as you get older. If you're not, staying up on what's going on. But then sometimes it's cool to just keep your sound the way it is and just give people what it is that you do.
But if I could bring up a question that ties directly into this with Eiht, with It's a Compton thing, It's a Compton thing, straight checking them, and then Music to Drive By. To me, again, growing up in Maryland, listening to it and getting these albums the day they came out, every one, and I remember the record stores I got them at. My point is, production-wise, it was the sound that y'all had, but it was always evolving.
Oh, definitely.
It was very different, and you could tell like the equipment, the mixing, the bass, just everything from It's a Compton thing to straight checking them was like a whole
Yeah,
different world.
yeah.
Shoot, the money lot got longer. Budgets got bigger.
It wasn't even that. It was the fact of, like you said, trying to evolve and trying to do shit out of the norm
Yeah.
from typical,
Don't dance.
Yeah. I always wanted to do different shit than what everybody else was doing. I guess the Parliaments, the Funkadelics, and the George Clintons and whatever. We prided ourselves on being different. So
Yeah.
each record was always a transition of trying to be better than the last one or do some shit that you thought the other motherfuckers wasn't doing. So,
Yeah,
that's what that was.
because the producer don't get nowhere near the credit that they should get. And most classic albums, if you notice, always just had one, maybe two producers behind them.
Right.
It was a more cohesive sound, I think.
It was a crew though.
Yeah, it was a crew.
It wasn't it
Yeah.
wasn't always just one.
But think
there
about
was
it.
a crew of people.
Everybody worked like you look at Bobcat when he hooked up with Pooh and the other cat, and they would get together. And you had Cube, who would always have Jinx around.
Yeah.
It was always a crew of people, but it wasn't a whole bunch of producers. I think today what hurts a lot of young artists is getting beats online. They never sit because first of all, the dude making the beat ain't really a producer yet.
He's a beat maker.
Yeah, he just giving you a beat and
Right.
you go do it. Ain't nobody coaching nobody. You remember back in the day, your producer was in there, say it like this.
I used to hate that shit. But criticism was always good.
Yeah, but you got produced.
I used to work with Slip. Slip was one of those dudes who, you messed up on this word, or do this, or say this part with a little more of this, or, so it's just the direction of what producers felt like, outside of just producing the fucking beat. You know what I'm saying? And especially if they've been working with you for a while. They know when your delivery is off a little bit. So you got producers who will tell you, you might want to run that back, or, you might want to put a little more of this, or, and Slip used to always give his input, just like I used to do when it came to music that I wanted to motherfucking rap over. You get me?
It's definitely a group effort.
I was the type of motherfucker that be like, shit, I go to the record stores
You would
or
bring the records.
listen to some old shit that I'd hear at my mom's or my auntie's, and then come back to Slip and be like, hey man, chop this up, or listen to this, or if I heard something, I'd just sit there and hum it to him. And Slip was the type of motherfucker, he finds shit. So it's always, it's good to have a collective effort, especially from the producer and the MC.
Yeah, and I think that that economy is good because even though it might have pissed you off at that time when he told you some shit, look at the end result.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know, both of y'all being hard on each other.
It's
Kinda,
always
you know?
good to have criticism, and that's in a lot of shit, man. You feel me?
Oh yeah, for
A
sure.
lot of
It
niggas
definitely make
don't
you
like
tighten your
it.
shit up.
A lot of motherfuckers will be phony and shit too. You have a pack of niggas just sitting there just listening to the shit, knowing shit is garbage as a motherfucker. And they'll be, oh nigga, that shit bomb as a motherfucker, nigga. That shit hard as a motherfucker.
Been in a few of those sessions.
Yeah,
Eiht.
yeah.
I've
Them the
seen
niggas
that
that
happen.
don't want to lose their weed rolling privilege. They don't want to lose their little spot in the tour, you know, to get to go everywhere. So they go say, hell yeah, instead of not knowing, you better keep it real with this dude or all the benefits go stop.
And then on another note, Booyah Tribe, you know,
Yeah.
if you want to talk about the epitome of gangster shit,
Gangsters who rap.
Booyah Tribe was, you know, one of those groups, you know, unfortunate, like a lot of us, didn't get the proper promotion and respect in the hip hop community that they should have, but always represented where they was from. Didn't have a problem with it, and then on top of that, they had some good fucking songs.
Oh, they had some jam. Them dudes was dope ass musicians too.
Yeah.
I knew Booyah Tribe, done a couple of engagements, you know, always was respectable. Like I said, you get into this hip hop game, and you know we all from different neighborhoods and come from different walks and shit. But I just always respected motherfuckers who, first of all, represented where they was from, didn't have a problem with it, and then them was some motherfuckers who was really into their craft. You
Right.
get me? They was real about making good music. You know, we not just gonna be a motherfucking stereotype image of just being some Cali niggas from Southern California from a gang, and that's what we gonna stand on. They prided themselves on making, you know, quality music, so that's why you got to put them up there when it comes to reality and shit.
And I think it's a great point, or these are great points you're making, Eiht, and I think it ties into something that we all know in different ways, but the labels you're on has a lot to do with it. Like you said, with
Definitely.
marketing and promotion, because they were on Island when they had their biggest chance, and Island wasn't a rap label and didn't know how to, I think, maneuver, market, promote, get them in
Some of
the
And on top of that-
some of my same pitfalls
Yeah.
dealing with fucking Epic, you know.
And it was probably 10 times as hard for them because you think about it, rap is already fairly new.
Yeah.
And usually people see the people that people see performing rap songs are black.
Right.
You got a bunch of big Polynesian dudes, so it's like, how do we promote this and market this? Because me and you both know, all three of us know, yeah, it's a way you can market that and be very
right,
successful.
but I
But
just
they don't
think the labels that were outside of hip hop
Didn't know what to do.
officially, like, you know, you had the Def Jams, but they were built on hip hop.
That's what they did.
You know, you had
if you go back-
Priority,
Priority.
who turned around, even though they started with the fucking Raisins, they turned around, Flip got with NWA and Easy in them,
Yeah.
and they whole label
Just kept
became
growing and growing and
Gangsta
growing.
shit.
gangster shit. You get me? So, to the discretion of motherfucking Epic and Island, who were subsidiaries of big ass Sonys and Universals and shit like that. You just got a gang of motherfuckers who, and not even to speak on because it had nothing to do with race, because you know what I'm saying. There's a lot of motherfuckers I knew, black, white, Mexican who were hip hop affiliated, but you got fucking corporate motherfuckers who used to run in Pearl Jam records and Sade records and Michael Jackson records, and now you tell them, okay, now we're gonna put out this Compton's Most Wanted music to drive by, and they're looking, they had no idea. So some of us fail. The video game Pitfall. You used to have to swing over the pit to make it to the other. Some of us had to fall in that pit because you got these labels who just.
It would have been like, what is Hood done took me under? What does this mean?
It's crazy because you would think that the money is there, right? You fucking with. Shit, Michael Jackson sold 1 billion fucking records. Sade was doing good.
Yeah.
Pearl Jam was doing good. Luther Vandross was doing good. So
Epic
you
was
would
one of
think
the biggest labels,
like, these motherfuckers got bread.
Yeah.
But when it came to hip hop, they was like, do what?
Right.
Like buy what? Get what? So a lot of my records was just going on the strength of just videos and word of mouth that, damn, that's Compton's Most Wanted.
Gangster Chronicles, we gon' tell you how it goes.
If I lie, my nose will grow like Pinocchio. We gon' tell you the truth and nothing but the truth.
Gangster Chronicles, this is not your average show.